Part 3. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 21. Emotional Mall. Mutual Existence Shadow Clone Technique. Value, 2000 Emotional Value. Introduction. After use, a shadow clone mark can be engraved on the body of the designated creature. When activated, summons a preset entity shadow clone. The clone will not dissipate until it withstands a certain level of attack or the chakra is exhausted. Mutual Presence Shadow Clone Technique is a special time-lapse shadow clone technique. Although Uchiha can also leave a shadow clone, and then the main body goes directly to meet Orochimaru. But Uchiha didn't know how long it would take for him and Orochimaru to leave this time. If it takes too long and shadow clone disappears automatically, it will be troublesome. The coexistence shadow clone technique can imprint the shadow clone technique on the colored phosphorus and fragrant phosphorus, which can avoid the self-depletion of the shadow clone when it exists. After all, shadow clone cannot restore chakra itself. The coexistence shadow clone technique can be activated when Cai phosphorus and the others are in crisis. Even if the shadow clone is defeated, Uchiha will be informed of the memory information after the shadow clone disappears. Moreover, Uchiha did not intend to leave only one shadow clone technique to coexist. He planned to leave one each for color phosphorus and fragrance phosphorus. The first coexistence shadow clone technique, early warning; the second, insurance. More importantly, the coexistence shadow clone technique is also a prerequisite ninjutsu that is extremely popular with Uchiha. Emotional Mall. Time Flash Shadow Clone Technique. Value, 50,000 Emotional Value. Introduction. You can ignore distance and swap places with Shadow Clone of Shadow Clone Technique. This is a space-time ninjutsu. After mastering this jutsu, Uchiha is able to swap places with the coexisting shadow clone. This is more practical than the Flying Thunder God technique and cheaper than the Flying Thunder God technique. It takes 100,000 sentiment points to redeem the Flying Thunder God technique. Unfortunately, for Uchiha, the emotional value required by Time Flash Shadow Clone technique is still too much. Although Uchiha currently has enough emotion points, his priority at this stage is to redeem the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Of course, if Ai Phosphorus and Siang Phosphorus encounter an enemy that Shadow Clone cannot defeat, Uchiha will also choose to redeem Flash Mutual Storage Shadow Clone technique in advance if forced to do so. In this way, no matter what happens, Cai Phosphorus and the others' safety can be guaranteed. Mutual coexistence shadow clone technique is equivalent to a guarantee. Unless, Uchiha can't beat him either. Uchiha isn't worried about that, though. Uchiha relies on the Mangekyo I technique Goshin body. Even if Itsutsuki appears in front of him, he still has a certain chance of winning. And 2000 emotion points is nothing for Uchiha. Anyway, it was just a matter of one night. Cai Phosphorus, Siang Phosphorus, wait for me to come back at home. If you are in danger, activate this mark immediately. I will come back as soon as possible. Brother, be sure to pay attention to safety. Jejun, Xionglan, and I are waiting for you to come back. Don't worry, your men are very powerful. After hugging the two of them respectively, Uchiha left the courtyard under the worried eyes of the two women. When they were together with Uchiha before, Ai Phosphorus and the others didn't feel anything. They were happy every day, laughing constantly, and their hearts were full of security. However, not long after Uchiha left, they felt as if something was missing in their hearts and lost interest in doing anything. Xianglian also changed from a happy bird to a quiet one. She lay on the window and kept looking out the window, waiting for Uchiha to come back. As if this can bring Uchiha back early. Mom, brother will be fine, right? Certainly. Cai Lu hugged Xiang Lu and sat together by the window, although she appeared to be much calmer than Xiang Lu. However, she also misses Uchiha in her heart. The fragrant phosphorus was something she had before coming to Kusanagi village. It was a family marriage. As soon as they got married, they were on the run because of the war. Not long after, the man they had only met a few times died. It was also at that time that Cai Lian found out that she was pregnant. The next step was to enter the grass ninja village, and her nightmare began. It can be said that Uchihasuke is her first real man. Moreover, Uchihasuke also saved her and Karen, pulling them out of the abyss. In her eyes, Uchihasuke has long been someone more important than her life. Cai Lian took care of Xiang Lian while praying silently in her heart. Jejun, you must come back safely. After seeing the sunshine, Cai Lun couldn't imagine whether she could bear it if they went back to their previous life. She thought she probably wouldn't survive. Uchihasuke quickly arrived at the position marked by Orochimaru and saw Orochimaru on the hillside at a glance. Uchihasuke didn't think much and ducked behind Orochimaru. From a high position, you can see a group of Konoha shinobi in the distance. They seem to be busy together. And the most dazzling person in the crowd has dazzling long golden hair. Uchihasuke recognized his identity immediately, Namikaze Minato. Probably because of Kushina, Uchihasuke always has a strange feeling in his heart every time he sees Namikaze Minato. At the same time, Uchihasuke also understood why Orochimaru called him over. Uchiha Obito is dead. Orochimaru didn't look back, looking at everything in front of him with a blurred vision. Uchihasuke told him before that Uchiha Obito is the key figure. But now Uchiha Obito is dead. Orochimaru couldn't figure out where the dead could take him. Under the watchful eyes of Uchihasuke and Orochimaru, the team of Konoha shinobi in the distance set up a simple tent, as if preparing for an operation. Uchihasuke took one look and understood what happened. Namikaze Minato came back late. Uchiha Obito was hit in half by a boulder, and now Lin is transplanting Obito's eyes to Kakashi. From today on, in the eyes of everyone, Uchiha Obito is dead. Soon, the fame of the copy ninja Sharingan Kakashi will spread in the ninja world. Facing Orochimaru's questioning gaze, Uchihasuke smiled slightly. He will not die so easily. Guys, could you please throw some flowers? There are 200 flowers every day, please add more. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 22. On the hillside, the cool breeze hit Uchihasuke's cheeks and touched his clothes. Although Orochimaru didn't understand why Uchihasuke said that, he didn't say much. Just standing in front of Uchihasuke, looking ahead silently. After Uchihasuke stood for a while, he squatted down and followed Orochimaru's gaze in that direction. Uchihasuke doesn't know why Orochimaru chose this location, but Orochimaru can stand here so openly, obviously not worried about Namikaze Minato finding out. With Orochimaru around, Uchihasuke naturally doesn't worry about him being discovered. We are all ninjas and very patient. As time goes by, the sun gradually sets from the heights, and the bright light gradually becomes dim. The setting sun stretches the shadows of everyone on the earth very long. The operation was finally completed before it became completely dark. After the group tidied up briefly, Namikaze Minato took the injured Kakashi, Lin, and several subordinates to leave. Before leaving, Namikaze Minato seemed to have noticed something, or maybe it was intuition, and glanced in the direction of Uchihasuke. Unfortunately, the distance was too far, and Orochimaru had made some preparations in advance, so Namikaze Minato didn't find anything. Maybe it's an illusion. Namikaze Minato shook his head and forced a smile on his face. The death of Uchiha Obito was a huge blow to Namikaze Minato. It even reminded him of the last time he met Kushina in Konoha, and the same feeling of powerlessness appeared in his heart again. Just recalling Kushina's unusually gentle face, Namikaze Minato felt his heart aching. Taking a few deep breaths, Namikaze Minato quickly cleared away the distracting thoughts in his mind and left here with everyone. It seemed like everything was over. After waiting for a whole afternoon, Orochimaru finally couldn't bear it anymore. Jejun, it seems everything is over. This is indeed the case at first glance. However, in Uchihasuke's perception, a unique chakra appeared. If Uchihasuke hadn't opened Mangekyo Sharingan, maybe we wouldn't have noticed this fluctuation. Of course, it could also be because Black Zetsu never expected that someone would be waiting here, and was accidentally exposed. No, Orochimaru-sama, take another look there. Uchihasuke said, pointing to where Obito was buried. In Orochimaru's opinion, there was nothing unusual there. However, when Orochimaru looked over, a black and white figure that looked like a pitcher plant appeared in Orochimaru's eyes. Orochimaru's pupils shrank, and then Orochimaru looked at Uchihasuke in shock. If before this, Orochimaru still had some doubts about the future mentioned by Uchihasuke. So now after seeing this scene, he is a little more convinced. Because without Uchihasuke's reminder, he would not have noticed the pitcher plant-like figure at all. A completely unknown person appears in Orochimaru's eyes. Even though Orochimaru has seen it with the naked eye, his senses still cannot detect the presence of the pitcher plant. Uchihasuke seemed not to notice Orochimaru's shock and smiled slightly. Orochimaru-sama, can you keep up with them? Although Uchihasuke can now sense the existence of Black Zetsu, if Black Zetsu leaves with Obito, Uchihasuke cannot guarantee it. It's not that Uchihasuke isn't strong enough, but Black Zetsu's hidden power is too strong. Even Sage of Six Paths and his brother were unaware of Black Zetsu's existence at the time. Uchihasuke pins his hopes on Orochimaru. Orochimaru has so many forbidden techniques, so there should be no problem catching up with Black Zetsu, right? If that doesn't work, then we can only kill Black Zetsu. Although Orochimaru didn't know what kind of existence Black Zetsu was, after hearing Uchihasuke's inquiry, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly, flashing a confident smile. He couldn't discover the Black-White Zetsu, but since he had seen the Black-White Zetsu, there was nothing he could do. Jejun, do you know what is the most sensitive thing about snakes? Even though I can't detect its existence, I have smelled it now. As long as he is still in this world, there is no way he can escape from my hands. Not to mention. Orochimaru's eyes fell on Obito. No matter how deep the pitcher plant hides, doesn't it still have a target? After Black Zetsu dug Obito out of the earth, he separated the white half of his body. After forming a few seals, White Zetsu merged into Obito's body like running water, completing Obito's body. After hanging Obito's life, Black Zetsu is ready to leave. He didn't realize it at all. His every move was watched by people all the way. Seeing Black Zetsu leaving, Orochimaru cast a technique and immediately followed. Ever since, Uchihasuke followed Orochimaru, following Black Zetsu at an extremely long distance. After climbing several mountains, Black Zetsu stopped and entered a hidden cave. After Black Zetsu disappeared for a moment, Uchihasuke and Orochimaru appeared at the location where Black Zetsu disappeared just now. It's the author's fault that Mangekyo Sharingan wasn't set properly, but it's cage level. This update is hereby added, and I forgive the author for his negligence. Stop whipping the corpse and please give me flowers. If there are common sense errors, please point them out in the comment section and the author will read them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 23. Orochimaru feels the mysterious power hidden underground. A trace of surprise and strong curiosity flashed in his eyes. Jejun, it seems we have found the right place. Although I don't know what's underneath, I have a vague feeling that I will like this gift very much. Uchihasuke didn't pay much attention. If he didn't have an emotion collection system, he would definitely be as full of expectations as Orochimaru. After all, there are a lot of white Zetsu down there. As an experimental subject, White Zetsu possesses extremely strong shaping power. It was because of the existence of White Zetsu that Uchiha Madara mastered the power of Senju and evolved into a Rinnegan. It also allows Uchiha Obito to easily master wood style and use Mangekyo without restrictions. It can be said that White Zetsu is the best experimental body and the best bloodline fusion. If Uchiha doesn't have an emotion collection system, if he wants to improve his strength, he can't do without White Zetsu. Not to mention, there's Ten Tails torso underneath, Gedo statue. But now Uchiha doesn't have much of a feel for what's underneath. After all, experiments are accompanied by risks, and no one knows what will happen. On the contrary, the emotion collection system is much safer. He simply prepared himself for battle, turning on the Mangekyo in his eyes. Although Uchiha acted extremely calmly, he knew who was underneath. Uchiha Madara. Even though Uchiha Madara is now in his twilight years, his lamp has run out of oil. But, Uchiha Madara is Uchiha Madara after all. Although Orochimaru is not weak, he may not be able to defeat the elderly Uchiha Madara. In fact, Uchiha is ready to use the godly body. Orochimaru cannot die. Uchiha still hopes that Orochimaru will become the fourth generation Hokage. This is an important plan for his future. And during this time together, Uchiha felt that he and Orochimaru had a great understanding and harmony. He knows what Orochimaru wants, and Orochimaru also knows what he needs. The two of them have no entanglement in interests. On the contrary, it is more suitable to work together. Unexpectedly, Orochimaru summoned a snake to mark the place and then turned around and left. Uchiha looked confused. "Lord Orochimaru, aren't you ready to go down?" "Ji-kun, why should I go down?" Orochimaru smiled and said meaningfully. Uchiha was confused by the question. He could clearly see that Orochimaru was very interested in the lower part. And he knows that there are many White Zetsu bodies down there, which is an irresistible temptation for a scientific research madman like Orochimaru. As long as you have White Zetsu and Orochimaru's talent, it won't be easy to master wood style. He never expected that Orochimaru would actually retreat at the last moment. This made Uchiha feel like he couldn't go up or down, and he was stuck in mid-air. He was ready to fight Uchiha Madara, one of the strongest fighters in the ninja world. Unexpectedly, I took off my pants, but... Orochimaru smiled, very happily. It seems that there are things that Mr. G cannot see. Uchiha rolled his eyes. What he saw was the plot, but he couldn't really see the future. Of course, he couldn't see what would happen after the plot changed, let alone what Orochimaru was thinking. Orochimaru seemed to just make a joke with Uchiha and then continued. "I can sense that there is a very strong force below, and my intuition tells me that it is very dangerous. Now is not the time to fight them. I need to make some preparations." Uchiha was stunned for a moment. Make some preparations. Could it be that God tier pills are going to be forced to be eaten here? Is this different from what he imagined before? Uchiha originally wanted to catch Orochimaru by surprise and seize something from Uchiha Madara. For this reason, Uchiha also selected several products in the mall and was always prepared. Just like Susanoo no Susanoo, Gundam. When Uchiha was in Konoha, he only had time to study Mangekyo's two pupil techniques. Susanoo is different. It is related to the degree of development of Mangekyo by the caster. In the process of practicing Susanoo, the consumption of pupil power is a huge burden, and myopia will occur if you are not careful. Moreover, only 2,000 emotion points are needed in the emotion mall to unlock the first stage of Susanoo. The second stage can be unlocked with 10,000 emotion points. The complete Susanoo can be unlocked with 50,000 emotion points. If necessary, Uchiha can redeem a complete Susanoo in the Mood Mall at any time. If not, Uchiha will wait until he redeems the same source Mangekyo and opens the eternal Mangekyo before practicing Susanoo on his own. The province is the province, the flowers are the flowers. But when Uchihasuke looked at Orochimaru, he had no intention of leaving with just one shot. Instead, I plan to swallow it all. Uchihasuke thought, and a surprising thought flashed through his mind. Orochimaru was already very pervert in the original work. He was a ruthless person who was active until Bruto. But now it seems that with my intervention, Orochimaru has developed in a more terrifying direction. Uchihasuke quickly shook his head to get rid of this terrifying thought in his mind. However, Uchihasuke did not stop Orochimaru's idea. On the contrary, there was a little more expectation in my heart. Uchihasuke has an emotion collection system, and its future heights are definitely not comparable to those in the Hokage ninja world. He was curious, where would Orochimaru go under his influence? He won't be instantly killed by Uchiha Itachi and Tsukuyomi like in the original work. Uchihasuke was thinking, as if a scene in the future where Uchiha Itachi and Orochimaru met appeared in his mind. After Itachi gave Tsukuyomi a very confident look, Orochimaru not only did nothing wrong, but even revealed a pair of identical Sharingan. Thinking of this, Uchihasuke stopped immediately. I can't think about it anymore, this idea is too scary. There are more flowers in this chapter. Thank you all for the flowers, please give me the data. There will be more than 16,932 flowers tomorrow, please continue to add more. You can guess what is being prepared, it is not a trivial matter. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 24. Next, Uchihasuke left with Orochimaru. Originally, Uchihasuke thought that the preparations Orochimaru mentioned were just some ninja tools, props, or equipment. The most I can do is call some people. He never expected that Orochimaru would take him all the way back from the country of grass to the capital of the country of fire. Looking at the bustling Fire Nation capital in front of him, Uchihasuke fell into confusion. Jijun, don't you see, why I brought you here? I don't know, Uchihasuke answered simply. He admitted that when he first met Orochimaru, he made up his Mangekyo abilities. After such a long time, Orochimaru seemed to have figured out that Uchihasuke did not explain everything at the time. However, who doesn't have a little secret? Orochimaru does not think that Uchihasuke lied to him, but thinks that Uchihasuke's ability has limitations. He had long seen that Uchihasuke could only see certain things, or the main line of fate. Jijun, your ability is very similar to a smelly toad I'm familiar with. You're talking about Todamaru, the stinky toad from Mount Myaboku. Uchihasuke stopped pretending. I do know some things, but I don't know everything. Ji-kun, you really know it, Orochimaru said. As they spent more time together, the relationship between the two became much closer, and their conversations became more casual. Then Jijun, why don't you guess why I brought you here? If you want to say it, you will tell me. If you don't want to say it, so what if I ask? In my opinion, the probability of you not telling me is higher. Jijun really understands me. Look, you will understand why I brought you here right away. I knew that was the case. Uchihasuke curled his lips. He discovered that after getting acquainted with him, Orochimaru was not as cold as he thought, but rather full of mischief. The two of them were standing on a tall building, extremely conspicuous. However, no one on the capital avenue of the Fire Country noticed them. As a ninja, concealment is the most basic ability. Although Uchihasuke has never studied stealth techniques before, the absolute difference in strength prevents ordinary people below from discovering him. Soon, a graceful and luxurious motorcade appeared in Uchihasuke's eyes. Looking at the logo on the carriage, Uchihasuke recognized the owner of the carriage at a glance. This is the daimyo's motorcade, Lord Sonoichi Hyu. Ji-kun is worthy of being a member of the Uchiha clan, and his experience is far beyond that of ordinary ninjas. This is indeed the convoy of Lord Sonoichi Q, the daimyo of the Land of Fire. Master Orochimaru, are you taking me to see the daimyo? You are not going to take me to see the daimyo this time, are you? Yes, and also wrong. Uchihasuke looked at Orochimaru God's mysterious appearance and frowned slightly. He was very sure that this paragraph did not exist in the original work. Especially because of his push, after Orochimaru rekindled his thoughts on the position of Hokage, Uchihasuke was even more confused about what Orochimaru would do next. You can't hold the emperor hostage to order the princes, right? Uchihasuke shook his head, not thinking Orochimaru would do this. The strangest thing about the Hokage ninja world is that no matter how strong the ninja is, all ninjas will obey the orders of the daimyo of each country, and no ninja will do anything to harm the daimyo or the nobles. Just when Uchihasuke felt puzzled, a sudden change occurred below. Earth-style earththorn wall. As soon as the explosion sounded, a giant mound was inserted in the middle of the daimyo's motorcade, instantly disrupting the formation of the daimyo's motorcade. Enemy attack, enemy attack. There are ninjas. He is a ninja from Rock Shinobi Village, protecting the daimyo. Where is the guardian ninja? Please help. At the same time, 3 guardian ninjas who were secretly protecting the daimyo jumped out and attacked the ninja wearing the Rock Shinobi Village forward protector. Fire style, wind style, sword, and light clash. Uchiha could tell at a glance that the ninja who protected Daming was not the opponent who seemed to be the ninja of Rock Shinobi Village. A trace of horror flashed across Uchihasuke's pupils. At this moment, he seemed to understand Orochimaru's thoughts. Ji-kun, I am satisfied with the performance in front of me. Although Orochimaru did not admit it, his words revealed that he sent people to create the Rock Shinobi farce. Orochimaru-sama is really unexpected, Uchihasuke said with emotion. The ninja who is suspected of being Rock Shinobi has a superb earth style. With absolute strength, he was able to kill the 3 ninjas who were guarding the daimyo in 3 strokes, 5 divided by 2. The remaining ordinary guards are no match for this Rock Shinobi. Not long after, Rock Shinobi killed many of them. A large number of stumps were lying on the street, stained with bright red blood. The civilians around him were so scared that they hid in the dark and did not dare to come out. The daimyo's carriage of the Land of Fire was pierced by an earth thorn at some point, revealing half of the carriage, with the daimyo's face full of horror inside. Daming Yuan Shixiu was so frightened that he huddled in the corner of the carriage, trembling all over. As one of the most powerful people on the ninja continent, they have become accustomed to enjoying being on top. They never thought that someone would dare to rob and kill him in the capital of the Land of Fire. As frightened as Mr. Sonoichi Shiu was at this moment, the anger in his heart was equally strong. Sarutobi Hiruzen. He had already complained about Konoha's increase in military spending in recent years, and now hostile ninjas had sneaked into the Fire Country and openly attacked him in the Fire Country's capital. Damn it, Sarutobi Hiruzen, if I survive today, I won't be able to spare you. However, Master Sonoichi Kyusun had no time to think about this. Because after Rock Shinobi killed most of the guards, he slowly walked towards the Fire Country daimyo with his hands full of blood. Ah, don't come here. Guard, guard. Haha, Lord Ichiu, the Fire Country daimyo. When the ninjas of Konoha killed our ninjas in Rock Shinobi Village, I wonder if you will be as scared as you are now. Today is the time for me to avenge Rock Shinobi Village. Although the scene below looks extremely grim, Orochimaru and Uchihasuke act calmly. Lord Orochimaru, aren't you afraid that Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen III Hokage will be suspicious of you if you do such a thing? Orochimaru said nothing and took out a scroll. Uchihasuke received it in his hand and saw the content on the scroll at a glance. Military Materials Distribution Application Form. Mission Level A. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 25. Looking at the document in his hand, Uchihasuke didn't know what to say. In order to plan this scene, Orochimaru even arranged a task for himself in advance. This gives Uchihasuke and Orochimaru a legitimate reason to be here. Everything seems like such a coincidence. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen has doubts, he can only remain at the stage of doubts. In other words, no one believed that Orochimaru would commit an attack, which was beyond all common sense. But if Orochimaru is the one doing it, everything seems to make sense again. Go to hell. Rock Shinobi raised his sword and stabbed the Fire Country daimyo fiercely. At the critical moment, Orochimaru tiptoed and moved instantly. A flash appeared in front of the daimyo of the Land of Fire, leaving Mr. Sonikai with a slender back. And that Rock Shinobi's right hand had long been frozen in mid-air, unable to move. Damn it, you are, Orochimaru. Rock Shinobi vomited blood, slowly lowered his head and looked at his chest. At some point, a long sword flashing with cold light penetrated his body, leaving him unable to move. The moment Orochimaru disappeared, Uchihasuke followed suit and stopped beside Orochimaru. The scene in front of me is a bit boring, but the effect is surprisingly good. Uchiha saw the flames of hope burst out in the eyes of the Fire Nation daimyo next to him. It's not hard to see that Orochimaru's plan has succeeded. Lord Sonoichi-Q, I'm sorry that I frightened you. Orochimaru wiped his hands gracefully and turned back slowly. You are, the legendary Sunin, Orochimaru. Fortunately, you are here, and you came at the right time. Come, is there anyone else? I want to give Orochimaru a reward, a big reward. Lord Sonoichi-Shu, this is what I should do. Protecting the daimyo is the duty of us Konoha shinobi. Responsibility? I think Sarutobi Hiruzen has long forgotten the fundamentals of being a Konoha shinobi. If you ask me, that old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen should have abdicated long ago. It is a wise choice for a young man like Orochimaru to serve as Hokage. I'm going to Konoha another day to see what that guy Sarutobi Hiruzen is doing. Didn't I already say that I would recommend the 4th generation project? Son of Sonoichi-Hyu is very complimentary. The teacher's strength is not comparable to mine. The daimyo of the Fire Country snorted twice and did not continue to answer. However, the more he looked at Orochimaru in front of him, the more satisfied he became. In his opinion, a ninja like Orochimaru is a qualified ninja. Next, Orochimaru and Uchihasuke were solemnly received by the daimyo. Night. After Uchihasuke and Orochimaru left the Ming Dynasty mansion, Uchihasuke looked at Orochimaru with some confusion in his eyes. Orochimaru-sama, do you want to become a Hokage like this? Uchihasuke paused, through, Sonoichi-Shu-sama. Sonoichi-Q. He can't do it, but he is indeed a part of my plan, Orochimaru said. Orochimaru-sama, do you have any other preparations? Orochimaru did not answer immediately, but stopped and stood opposite Uchihasuke. There is indeed one more thing, but it is not the key at this point. Orochimaru looked at Uchihasuke meaningfully. The important thing is, didn't Jijun say that he would help me get back what belongs to me? Uchihasuke instantly understood what Orochimaru meant and looked at Orochimaru and smiled. Certainly. Then the two of them looked at each other and smiled, saying nothing. The next few days. Hokage building. Sarutobi Hiruzen's roar kept coming from Hokage's office. Danzo, tell me how the information was leaked. Why are Konoha's frontline ninjas always attacked by the enemy? No matter how covered our transportation team is, they will be ambushed, and even the ninjas who attack us will know our strength. Chew. Hiruzen, are you doubting me? Danzo was also angry. Doubtful? I'm asking. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo with his eyes tightly, as if he wanted to see something. Such confidential information is only known to a few people like you and me. How did the enemy know about it? And didn't you tell me that Rock Shinobi had agreed to counterattack and attack Cloud Shinobi village? When Danzo heard this, he felt even more irritated. Rock Shinobi village promised me that I would sneak attack the Cloud Shinobi army from behind Cloud Shinobi village, but I don't know why the news broke before I took action. Cloud Shinobi village was well prepared for the attack on Rock Shinobi village, and counterattacked Rock Shinobi village. It was a surprise, and Onaki is questioning me about this matter now. I also want to ask you, how did Cloud Shinobi know that Rock Shinobi would sneak attack Cloud Shinobi? You two, stop arguing. Maybe the secret was leaked by Rock Shinobi Village, Mito Kato Homura advised. If it was only leaked from Rock Shinobi Village, then why did our Konoha information leak out? Yudatan Koharu said in a dull voice. Mito Kato Homura heard this and rolled his eyes at Yudatan Koharu. Which pot can't be opened? Isn't it already such a quarrel? Afterwards, the office fell into a long silence. Originally, the situation in Konoha was very precarious, and they finally instigated the rebellion of Rock Shinobi Village and asked them to sneak attack Cloud Shinobi, dog eat dog. Regardless of success or not, at least one of Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi will be greatly weakened, so Konoha can turn the corner. In fact, both sides suffered losses, and Konoha won without a fight. But things don't always work out as planned. Rock Shinobi Village failed to attack Cloud Shinobi, but was ambushed by Cloud Shinobi. What's more, Rock Shinobi Village now suspects that Konoha leaked the secret and that Konoha and Cloud Shinobi teamed up to trick Rock Shinobi. As a result, even though Konoha cut off Rock Shinobi Village's supply line, Rock Shinobi Village still did not give up the idea of attacking Konoha. Instead, it added new grudges to old grudges and invested more ninjas in an attempt to regain its position. Cloud Shinobi Village didn't know where it came from, but Rock Shinobi Village was instigated by Konoha to rebel, and its anger was also transferred to Konoha. Because Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village are across the sea, even if Cloud Shinobi Village wants to take revenge on Rock Shinobi Village, it can only go through the Land of Fire. Moreover, now that Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village are on alert, it is absolutely impossible to sneak attack on the other side's retreat through the sea. The already precarious two fronts have become more difficult with the revenge of Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi. Coupled with the recent leaks of secrets in Konoha, Konoha's ninjas have been retreating steadily, and there have been heavy casualties in just a few days. Seeing this, the Mist Ninja Village was no longer prepared to wait and see, and was preparing to send troops to attack Konoha and take the opportunity to bite off a piece of fat. Even Sand Shinobi Village, which was in the midst of a civil war, had the idea of temporarily ending the civil strife and coming to take a share of the pie. By this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was no longer as calm as before. He even had the idea of summoning Tsunade back in shame. But this idea did not relieve the pressure in his heart. Because Tsunade suffers from hemophobia, even if he is recalled, he will not be able to form a strong fighting force. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was agitated, looked back and found that there was no one in his hands. Konoha has long been in a dilemma. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly thought of Heitake Shijisaku and the 7 colors of Konoha. Konoha used to be extremely glorious. What is the reason why there is no one available in Konoha now? It's because, what's the reason? Please give me flowers, big guys, please give me data. It's just a little short of 200 flowers per day, just a little short. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 26. Hiruzen, the top priority now is to discuss how to resist Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village. It's too late to find traitors. Danzo banged the crutch in his hand on the ground hard and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen indifferently. He always thought that Sarutobi Hiruzen was too weak, which caused such a situation. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a few deep puffs from the pipe in his hand and was silent for a long time. Then he slowly stood up and picked up the Hokage hood from the table. I have decided that I will personally go to the front line and lead the ninjas of Konoha to resist the attacks of Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village. Hiruzen, no Yudatan Koharu and Mito Kato Homura quickly stopped him. However, as soon as they opened their mouths, they were interrupted by Sarutobi Hiruzen waving his hand. Needless to say, I can only take action at this stage, otherwise if we lose the war, Konoha will be completely subverted. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't dare to think about the consequences. If his teacher knew that Konoha was destroyed in his hands, he would die in peace. Danzo also fell silent at this time, because he knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen's move was the best option and the last resort at this stage. Otherwise, once the front-line ninjas cannot resist Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village, the enemy will be able to march straight in and attack Konoha. Until then, Kiri Ninja and Sand Shinobi will never give up on beating the drowned dog. At that time, Konoha might really be destroyed. The Hokage office was filled with smoke. At this time, everyone in the F4 group had a look of despair on their faces. You looked at me, I looked at you, but no sound came out after opening your mouth several times. They couldn't understand what happened. Why did the situation suddenly reverse? It's even a matter of life and death. Just when the few people ended their silence and were about to discuss the next specific action plan, Umbu's shout suddenly came from outside the door. Hokage-sama, Hokage-sama, the daimyo is here. Daimyo, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned upon hearing this and subconsciously stood up. Why did the daimyo come? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked directly at Danzo. Unexpectedly, Danzo turned his eyes away, which made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel bad. Mito Kato Homura and Yudatan Koharu both looked surprised. Yes, why did the daimyo come? Konoha didn't receive the notification either. Why is the daimyo coming to Konoha at this time? Sarutobi Hiruzen did not answer Umbu's words, but just stared at Danzo. Danzo, what exactly do you want to do? What to do? Sarutobi Hiruzen, I would like to ask you what to do. Before Danzo could open his mouth, an angry questioning voice from the Fire Country daimyo came from outside the door. Then the Hokage's office opened, and the Fire Country daimyo rushed in with several guards. Hello, Mr. Sonoichi-Q, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Even though he was confused by the direct question from the Fire Nation daimyo, he still said respectfully. Okay. I'm not good. A few days ago, the ninjas from Rock Shinobi Village actually crossed the defense line and openly attacked me in the capital. Is this happening? Why didn't I know? Is Rock Shinobi Village crazy? Humph, you'd better not know. Fortunately, Orochimaru arrived in time, otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to see me now. These days, Konoha is setting under your fingertips. Both Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi have entered the territory of the Fire Nation, and they have invaded many towns in a few days. I paid a lot of money to support you, and this is what you do to me. Doing things. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed not to hear what the daimyo said, and just stared blankly at Orochimaru, who came in with the daimyo. Thinking of Danzo's silent expression before, Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to realize something for a moment. Are you trying to force me to have an abortion? Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly saw his surroundings. At some point, Umbu's ninjas slowly retreated together and finally stopped behind Orochimaru. Although Yudatan Koharu and Mito Kato Homura looked worried and seemed to know nothing, Danzo remained motionless. The scene before him made Sarutobi Hiruzen smell something different. No, I still have Namikaze Minato, and Inoshikacho, and... But the next second, Sarutobi Hiruzen's whole body seemed to be struck by lightning, and his mind went blank. Namikaze Minato is still on the front line, and so is Ino-Shika-Cho. These days, the front line has been losing battles one after another, and Sarutobi Hiruzen has sent out all the people he can. Even he was preparing to go to the front line. At this time, there was no one available around him. In other words, the only people left around him now are Danzo's people and Orochimaru's people. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked past the figure of the Fire Country daimyo to Orochimaru. At this time, Orochimaru also raised his head, with a hint of obvious mockery on his lips. Sarutobi Hiruzen instantly had a wry smile on his face, as if he had accepted his fate. I see. Exhaling heavily, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the Fire Country daimyo. Lord Sonoichi Shu, I am responsible for the defeat of the war. I am willing to abdicate and give up the position of Hokage to my disciple, Orochimaru. From today, Orochimaru is the fourth generation Hokage of Konoha. Congratulations, Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Orochimaru with a complicated expression. He once had a fantasy that Orochimaru would take over his position in the future, become the next Hokage, and lead Konoha forward. I just didn't expect it to be in such a situation. I didn't expect it to be done in this way. Sarutobi Hiruzen just thought silently, hoping that Orochimaru could do what a Kage should do and protect Konoha. Otherwise, he will take back the Hokage in Orochimaru's hands even if he dies. Sarutobi Hiruzen also thought about being tough. However, Konoha is now surrounded by enemies and must not lose the power of Orochimaru and the daimyo. Sarutobi Hiruzen compromised. The Fire Nation daimyo actually smiled happily. Haha, Sarutobi Hiruzen, you should have been like this. Orochimaru, I believe that under your leadership, Konoha can quickly defeat Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village and restore my territory. I will ask the finance minister to increase aid to Konoha now. Orochimaru, please don't live up to my expectations. It is an honor to serve the daimyo, Orochimaru said leisurely. Ha 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 ha. The daimyo laughed, and Orochimaru laughed too. Although they are not happy about the same thing. On the other side, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Yuditen Koharu, and Mito Kato Homura were silent. After a long time, Danzo stood up and looked up at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hiruzen, you are getting old. It is long past time for Orochimaru to succeed you. Danzo did not recommend Namikaze Minato to become the fourth Hokage from the beginning. The person Danzo recommended was Orochimaru. Because he believed that Sarutobi Hiruzen's original intention was to use Minato as a puppet to try to control Konoha all the time. It's a pity that Sarutobi Hiruzen's power is too strong. Even if Danzo is dissatisfied, he can only watch Namikaze Minato become the next generation of Hokage little by little. Until this crucial turning point, Danzo would rather Orochimaru become a Hokage than Namikaze Minato. Of course, he would prefer that he be, but he knows that he doesn't have that power yet. Just like Uchiha-suke, he does not have the conditions to become a Hokage at this stage. To put it bluntly, the time it took for him to acquire the emotion collection system was too short. His current strength is not enough, and he needs to develop it in a low-key manner for a while. Not to mention, Hokage is not about fighting and killing, but about worldliness. Listening to the laughter in my ears. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen only felt that the laughter of Orochimaru and the others was very noisy. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly saw Uchiha-suke standing beside Orochimaru. This is the first time he meets Uchiha-suke. Seeing the clan emblem on Uchiha-suke, he knew that Uchiha-suke was a member of the Uchiha clan. For some reason, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly thought of the person Orochimaru had specifically asked for from him before. Could it be that he is Uchiha-suke? Uchiha-suke also raised his head and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen at this time, with a slight smile on his lips. From today onwards, Konoha will enter the era of Orochimaru. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Guys, please give me some flowers, they will wither without them. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 27. Konoha, Rock Shinobi Frontline. Konoha Camp. Namikaze Minato looked exhausted, and behind him were three people, Inoshikacho. Narashikaku always frowned, as if there were layers of dark clouds hanging over him. The situation they face these days is too bad. Rock Shinobi Village is like having eyes, always aware of their movements and carrying out targeted attacks. This kind of situation where information is completely suppressed makes him feel extremely passive no matter how high his IQ is. At this time, Even Namikaze Minato realized that something might be wrong with Konoha. But they had no choice but to shrink their formation and rely on his personal strength to forcefully protect his subordinates and avoid casualties to the greatest extent. Although this is tiring, there is no other way. At this time, the morale in the Konoha camp was extremely low, and even Namikaze Minato's personal charm could not completely reverse this depressed atmosphere. "Minato-sama, is it okay to continue like this?" Narashikaku said. "Yes, we have not received supplies from Konoha for several days. If we continue like this without the enemy attacking us, we will not be able to survive," Akamai Katingzeo said. Although Yamanaka Hai didn't speak, the look on his face said everything. Namikaze Minato looked up at the camp. "Everyone, please hold on a little longer and believe in Mr. Third Generation." Although Namikaze Minato said this, there was obvious doubt in his eyes under his forced smile. He didn't understand what was happening to Konoha. It was like Konoha gave up on them. The four of them looked at each other in silence. Suddenly, bursts of exclamations came from the camp, instantly attracting their attention. Soon, several ninjas appeared in front of them with faces full of joy. "Minato-sama, help is coming, our help is coming. We finally have supplies. That's great. Master Hokage has not forgotten us. Konoha will win, Konoha will win. Help is coming." The four Namikaze Minato's eyes lit up, they looked at each other, and then quickly disappeared from the slope and arrived at the entrance of the camp. Looking at the familiar motorcade, they couldn't help but feel relieved. As expected, Konoha's troops entered the camp. However, Namikaze Minato looked at the leader with a dazed look. "Shimura Danzo? And these ninjas also have obvious signs on their bodies, and they are all ninjas at their core." Danzo-sama. Namikaze Minato took a step forward. "It's Minato." Danzo looked at Namikaze Minato with a different light in his eyes. "Thank you, Lord Danzo, for coming to deliver supplies. Your arrival has solved our biggest difficulty. It's all for Konoha, but in addition to bringing you supplies and route assistance this time, I also brought you a message." "Or, it's Hokage-sama's appointment." "Appointment?" Namikaze Minato asked, confused. "You'll know after you take a look. Oh, by the way, Luju, you guys should also take a look. There's also information about your appointment here. Could it be that Third Generation has new mission arrangements for us?" Namikaze Minato picked up the appointment letter and looked down at it. However, when he saw the appointment letter for the first time, he was stunned. The format of the appointment letter was completely different from the one he was familiar with before, and the iconic Third Hokage seal on the top of the letter became Fourth Generation, Hokage. Konoha, when did there be a Fourth Generation? Wasn't it agreed that Fourth Generation would be his? Namikaze Minato felt in a daze that he had lost something, and what he had lost was not just the position of Hokage. There was no clear change in their positions in the appointment letters. Namikaze Minato is still the top commander of Rock Shinobi Village, and it is nothing more than setting Danzo as the deputy commander. Danzo leads the route ninjas and cooperates with Namikaze Minato to resist the attack of Rock Shinobi Village. However, everyone's mind was not on the content of the appointment letter, but on looking at the signature of 4th Hokage Orochimaru and feeling at a loss. 4th Generation Orochimaru. When did Orochimaru become a Hokage? What happened in Konoha during this period? 2 flowers bloom, one on each side. Konoha, Cloud Shinobi Frontline. Konoha Camp. As the frontline commander, Jiraiya was worried when he suddenly saw a completely unexpected person in the camp. "Teacher, why are you here?" "You're confused, teacher. As a shadow, you should be sitting in the rear and coordinating the overall situation." Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled bitterly. "Why can't Hokage be on the front line? Besides, I'm not a Hokage anymore." After Sarutobi Hiruzen finished speaking, Jiraiya realized that the Hokage hat Sarutobi Hiruzen was wearing was missing. At first, Jiraiya thought his teacher was wearing armor for convenience in combat. Only now did I realize that the change in costume was not just for fighting. At first, Jiraiya did not realize the seriousness of the problem and looked at his teacher with a smile. "Teacher, you are too impatient. The war is not over yet, so you have to abdicate and let Namikaze Minato become the fourth Hokage." You are giving him a challenge. Although Jiraiya smiled, there was more worry in his eyes. The situation in Konoha is not good now, and he doesn't know if Minato can hold on. Minato? If only, Minato, the fourth Hokage wasn't him. Jiraiya was stunned for a moment. How is it possible? Who is it if it's not Minato? Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a moment, then met Jiraiya's eyes and said in a hoarse voice. "It's Orochimaru." Orochimaru. Jiraiya felt that the CPU was burned. How could it be Orochimaru? Yes, how could it be Orochimaru? Sarutobi Hiruzen also couldn't figure it out. Now even he has been sent to the front line by Orochimaru. Although he originally planned to go to the front line, this was different. One is that he went to the front line as a Hokage and called Uchiha to fight in person. The other is that he was sent to the front lines by the Hokage as a member of Konoha. But could he say no? He simply doesn't have the ability to overturn the table right now. Especially now that the war situation is extremely bad, there is an urgent need for someone to stand up. Plus the support of the big names. Even if he disagrees with everything in his heart, he still has to wait until the war is over. After all, the power in his hands returns to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen remained silent, while Jiraiya stood aside in a daze. Fortunately, the war was still going on and they didn't have time to think too much. At this time, Konoha had already been replaced by Orochimaru's people. As a disciple of the Hokage, the legendary Sunin, Orochimaru had quite a following in Konoha. To some extent, Orochimaru's personality charm is much higher than that of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Even if he leaves Konoha for many years in the future, there are still many die-hard fans of him in Konoha. Most of the Umbu who are now staying in Konoha are subordinates who followed Orochimaru in his early years. Hokage office. At this time, there were only Orochimaru and Uchiha in the room. Uchiha looked at Orochimaru wearing a Hokage hat and was filled with emotion. "Orochimaru-sama, no, Hokage-sama, you can't say that. This is just a little preparation in your mouth." Uchiha couldn't understand. Wasn't he just going to fight Madara? Orochimaru actually went to be a Hokage first. What kind of divine unfolding is this? Even Uchiha is confused now. Although his information help accounts for most of the credit, Orochimaru also contributed a lot. Could it be that Hokage's identity can increase his combat power? Jejun, Hokage is just taking advantage of the situation. My real preparation is this. After Orochimaru finished speaking, he took out the sealed book. It's what I need to prepare. 100 evaluation votes plus more updates. There are now 170 evaluation votes, and one update will be added for every 100 recommendation votes accumulated. Only 30 tickets left. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 28. The Sealed Book. Seeing this, Uchiha instantly understood why Orochimaru hurriedly launched a coup. Although the timing was perfect, the fundamental reason for Orochimaru's coup was still the sealed book. I don't know if Sarutobi Hiruzen will be so angry when he finds out. Is it for the impure world reincarnation? Jejun's ability is really enviable. He even knows this technique. Yes, I am here for it. It's funny to say that my teacher once said that I was dark and kept me from studying forbidden technique. Little did I know that the former second Hokage, Senju Tobirama, was the real genius of forbidden technique. Especially this impure world reincarnation. Orochimaru said as he opened the sealed book and turned to the page of impure world reincarnation. Second Hokage Tobirama-sama's research on this technique cannot be done out of thin air. If you really want to study the forbidden technique, in front of second generation, I am just a follower. Master Orochimaru, you are too humble. As the younger brother of the first Hokage, Senju Tobirama, the resources that the second Hokage has are beyond your comparison. But it's different now, isn't it? Orochimaru-sama is also a Hokage now. And I will provide all research needs for Orochimaru-sama. Although Uchiha doesn't care much about the memory of his previous life, there is one sentence that has long been imprinted in his soul. Science and technology are primary productive forces. Sukun, actually, compared to what you call me now, I would rather you just call me Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru, you seem too unfamiliar. Neither of them mentioned their previous promises, but they both understood what the other meant. Well, it does make us feel closer, Orochimaru. After Orochimaru became Hokage, Uchiha took advantage of the situation and became Hokage's assistant, assisting Hokage in completing all work. It seems that Orochimaru is wearing a Hokage hat, but the Hokage office belongs to Uchiha. Sure enough, the person who understands me best is Mr. G. I'll leave this to you. Orochimaru smiled evilly and disappeared into the Hokage office with the sealed book. Looking at the empty Hokage chair, Uchiha shook his head and stepped forward to sit on it. There were numerous documents before him, especially on the front. Although Uchiha was handling official duties for the first time, he did not feel timid. Especially now that Konoha is at war, everything is focused on war. Namikaze Minato, Sarutobi Hiruzen, although he failed in the political struggle, was careless and was ambushed by Orochimaru and him. However, as front-line commanders, they are absolutely qualified. Uchiha just doesn't do anything, so he doesn't have to worry about Konoha falling into chaos for a short time. Shortly after Orochimaru left, Yuditen Koharu and Mitokato Homura entered the Hokage office. They came here after receiving Orochimaru's order. Unexpectedly, they did not see Orochimaru when they entered the office, but saw a young Uchiha clan member sitting on the Hokage seat. Are you, Uchiha? Where's Orochimaru? Why are you alone in the office? Didn't Orochimaru call us here? Yuditen Koharu and Mitokato Homura not only have no respect for Uchiha, but also Orochimaru. With this attitude, Orochimaru still wants us to help him manage Konoha. Nothing more than a thief, we only recognize Minato. Uchiha smiled and said nothing, just silently watching the two of them act up and scold why. After a while, Yuditen Koharu and the others also noticed Uchiha's strange gaze, and gradually closed their mouths, but their eyes were still full of disdain. Stop talking? Do you want to continue listening? Uchiha said warmly, as if he didn't hear them scolding. However, it was this kind attitude that made Mitokato Homura and the others lose their confidence. Since you don't say it, it's my turn. Here, take a look at these documents. I specifically asked Orochimaru to send Umbu to collect them. At first, the two of them didn't care, until they saw the contents of the document, and cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. During the period when Sarutobi Hiruzen served as the third generation, the Sarutobi clan became the largest clan in Konoha secretly. During the Fourth Ninja World War, 3,000 ninjas were brought out in one breath. This is an extremely exaggerated number. You must know that the entire Rock Shinobi now only has more than 10,000 ninjas. During this period, it is not too common for the F4 group to seek power for personal gain. Yuditen Koharu and Mitokato Homura as assistants to Sarutobi Hiruzen are naturally impossible to avoid. Slander, this is all slander, let Orochimaru come out, what does he want to do to us old people? Putting aside the facts, we have no merit to Konoha. We all obey Sarutobi Hiruzen. If you want to ask Orochimaru to ask Sarutobi Hiruzen. Yuditen Koharu and Mitokato Homura croaked like drakes. Orochimaru. Sorry, you can't see Orochimaru anymore. Do you see this? Uchiha took out a seal. How is it possible? How could Orochimaru give this to you? Yuta and Koharu looked in disbelief. The Hokage features a seal, symbolizing the Hokage's power. They didn't even touch it once when Sarutobi Hiruzen was the third Hokage, and now it's in the hands of Uchiha Sasuke. Is Orochimaru a Hokage, or is the boy in front of me a Hokage? Looking at Uchiha Sasuke, they instantly felt that they had wrongly predicted the relationship between Uchiha Sasuke and Orochimaru. Do not forget, Orochimaru just became Hokage today. This chapter is an additional update for 200 flowers per day. There will be more than 17,176 flowers tomorrow, and we will continue to add more. Regarding the protagonist's caution, the author has arrangements. However, I didn't expect that you would think it was cowardly. Blame me, let me reflect. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 29. Hokage Office. Yuta and Koharu and Mitokado Homura looked at each other, and when they looked at Uchiha Sasuke again, they subconsciously put away the contempt in their eyes. It's obvious that they put Uchiha Sasuke on the same level as them. Seeing that the two people were calm, Uchiha Sasuke lightly clicked his fingers on the table twice, and then said slowly. From today on, you two are no longer the elders of Konoha. At the same time, I declare the abolition of the Konoha Elder Council system. No, how can you abolish the elder system? Mitokado Homura's heart, which had just sunk, rose again. This is Konoha's long-standing management system. If Konoha loses its elders, then who will manage Konoha? That's right, you have no right to deprive us of our eldership. Yuta and Koharu couldn't sit still. A long-standing management system? How do I remember that there were no elders during the first Hokage and second Hokage periods? Wasn't the elders system established by that loser Sarutobi Hiruzen? I don't think it's impossible to govern Konoha without the elder council system. As for your right to say. Uchiha Sasuke grasped the seal in his hand. Stand at the front desk. There is a method of standing at the front desk. Now, the Hokage of Konoha is Orochimaru, the power concentrated in one body. And these rights are all in the hands of Uchiha Sasuke at this time, and Uchiha Sasuke does not need to be as cautious as before. Oh, by the way, in addition to informing you two of this matter, Umbu's ninjas have already gone to your home before you came. On behalf of the Hokage, I collect all of your ill-gotten gains over the years. If Yuta and Koharu and Mitokado Homura were a little shocked before, they completely lost their sense of proportion after hearing these words. Uchiha Sasuke, what on earth do you want to do? Aren't you afraid of us? Mitokado Homura looked serious and looked sad. It's wartime now. If we are completely offended, we can't guarantee what will happen. Mitokado Homura threatened. Offended, Uchiha Sasuke smiled. So what if I offend you? Sarutobi Hiruzen can only compromise. Who are you? At this moment, all humility on Uchiha Sasuke's face was gone, and he looked at the two people in front of him with arrogance. You, Mitokado Homura pointed at Uchiha Sasuke and was so angry that he couldn't speak. Even though a tiger falls in Pyongyang and is bullied by a dog, it is not like this. Orochimaru had just taken office and hadn't said anything yet, but a junior from Uchiha dared to treat them like this. Bold, as a junior of Konoha, you actually disrespect the elders so much. Today, I want to represent the Hokage and let you understand what it means to respect the elderly and love the young. Yuta and Koharu and Mitokado Homura were close friends with Sarutobi Hiruzen when they were young, and even in old age, they still maintain their strength as jonin. In anger, the chakra on his body emerged and pressed towards Uchiha Sasuke. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Sasuke didn't even move, or even raised his eyelids, he just looked at the two people indifferently. Why, you are so angry that you are ready to attack me. You obviously forced us to do this. Everyone, hello, I'm good, isn't that good? We are willing to give up our position as elders. But we also hope you won't go too far. Uchihasuke smiled, I'm afraid you have made a mistake. I am not discussing with you, but informing you. Uchihasuke said as Scarlet 3 Megatama appeared in his pupils. Seeing this, Midokado Homura and Yuditen Koharu thought that Uchihasuke was going to fight them, and couldn't help but laugh. This Uchihasuke is really stupid. Uchihasuke is only a teenager, and even Konoha's #1 genius Kakashi is only Jonin. They don't think Uchihasuke has much power. Moreover, they checked Uchihasuke's information yesterday. It's just a Chunin. Even if the 3 Tomo Sharingan is hidden and actually has the strength of Jonin, they are not too worried. They just don't know how Uchihasuke gained Orochimaru's trust. In their hearts, Uchihasuke is just a fake and powerful person. However, just when they were thinking about how to keep what they had in their hands, a shocking scene happened to them. The 3 Megatama in Uchihasuke's eyes are spinning faster and faster, and they are about to be connected together. Midokado Homura and the others, as people of the same era as Sarutobi Hiruzen, naturally knew that the most powerful of the Uchiha clan was not the 3 Tomo Sharingan, but the legendary Mangekyo. But those are the eyes that the legendary Uchiha Madara only has. For so many years, the Uchiha clan has never produced a genius who can unlock Mangekyo, so that everyone, including them, has forgotten that the Uchiha clan still has Mangekyo Sharingan. How can it be? It's Mangekyo Sharingan. Midokado Homura and Yuditen Koharu instantly felt a tremor welling up from the depths of their souls. It is precisely because they know how powerful Mangekyo is that they are even more afraid. Then their aura plummeted, as if they had aged countless years in an instant. Haha, I originally thought that Sarutobi Hiruzen lost because of his carelessness, because he compromised with Orochimaru for the sake of the overall situation, but who knew that all this was not an accident, but a long-prepared plan. Uchihasuke, I admit that you won. I just ask you not to hurt my people. I am willing to hand over everything else to Konoha. We underestimated Orochimaru, and we underestimated you even more. Uchiha didn't answer, but the Mangekyo in his eyes gradually returned to black eyes. It seems that the 2 elders, oh, no, it seems that Midokado Homura Jonin and Yuditen Koharu Jonin have figured it out. Those 2 are ready to leave. Uchihasuke pointed to the door with his hand and asked the 2 people to leave by themselves. Midokado Homura and Yuditen Koharu were so aggressive when they arrived, but so depressed when they left. In fact, they didn't even know how to leave the Hokage building. Standing at the door of the Hokage building, they turned around and looked at the Hokage building that they were once so familiar with. For a moment, the 2 of them felt that things had changed and things had changed. For Uchihasuke, Midokado Homura and Yuditen Koharu were just a sideshow. He smiled disdainfully as he watched the 2 men gradually disappearing at the end of the passage. Do you think I'll let you go so easily? Humph, everything has just begun. The fun is yet to come. Asking for flowers, asking for flowers. Thank you guys for the flowers, take a bow, thank you very much. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 30. Hokage Building. After Midokado Homura separated from Yuditen Koharu, he rushed towards his home anxiously, his eyes full of worry. Although Uchihasuke promised them verbally that he would only confiscate their property, they instinctively did not believe Uchihasuke's words. It's just that the power is stronger than the people, so they have no choice but to compromise. They are old and have no courage to lift the table. Not long after, Midokado Homura arrived at the door. At this time, he found that not only Umbu's ninjas were at the door of his home, but also a large number of villagers were watching. Midokado Homura looked at the villagers at the door and frowned slightly. Where did these villagers come from? However, he soon had no time to think about it as he was surrounded by his embarrassed family members. Homura, what's going on? How could an Umbu ninja break into our home and threaten to seize us and take away everything in our home? What the hell happened? Stop it quickly. Elder Mitokado Homura is already here. Do you still dare to do evil here? It's so arrogant, it's so arrogant. Haha, you are helpless. Before you say this, you should ask Elder Mitokado Homura. Oh, no, it should be Mitokado Homura Jonin now. Ask him if he thinks the same way. After saying that, the ninja led by Umbu took out a notebook and said loudly without looking at Mitokado Homura. Mitokado Homura, for corruption, bribery, gossiping, and distortion of facts, etc., is hereby abolished as an elder and has all his property confiscated, totaling 300 million taels. Mitokado Homura looked at the Umbu ninja in front of him and understood something instantly. However, it was too late for him to stop it. What? 300 million taels? Isn't he just an elder of Konoha? Why does his family have so much money? Based on his salary, he will not earn 300 million taels in his next life even if he works. Didn't you hear that the charges were corruption, bribery, and stirring up trouble? I didn't expect that there would be such a worm among our top management in Konoha. No wonder the war on the front line has always been at a disadvantage. Damn it, I'm so angry. 300 million taels is enough to buy us frontline ninjas many ninja tools and military ration pills. Fucking shameless Mitokado Homura, you're still an elder? Damn you. Mitokado Homura suddenly understood why the scene in front of him felt so familiar. There was a click sound. A stench appeared on the tip of Mitokado Homura's nose. Just now, an unknown villager threw a rotten egg when he was cursing, and it hit Mitokado Homura who was in a daze. One stone stirred up 1,000 waves, and countless people threw rotten vegetable leaves and garbage at Mitokado Homura. Mitokado Homura's family members were still angry at first, but when they saw that Mitokado Homura remained silent and even had rubbish thrown at him by countless people, they all became timid. What they saw was beyond their comprehension. They fled here amid the abuse of countless villagers. On the other side, Yudet and Koharu also encountered the same situation. Umbu's indifference and the villagers' abuse made them become Konoha's street rats and the sinners of the entire Konoha. It seems that all wars are lost because of sinners like them. Even the accusation of leaking secrets on the Konoha front line was placed on their heads by public opinion. The relative of a ninja who died on the front line even openly cursed. A few days ago, the enemies on the front line seemed to have eyes and knew the movements of our Konoha shinobi. It was for this reason that my son died in the war. Now it seems that the truth is revealed. It is because of Mitokado Homura, Yudet and Koharu such a trash elder, scum, my son died, I suggest Hokage-sama execute them both, it is not a pity for them to die. Let me see, Sarutobi Hiruzen is not much better. Otherwise, why would he resign at the speed of light during the war and give up the position of Hokage to his disciples? He just wants to evade responsibility? That's right, why did he abdicate to make way for others? Thankfully I believed in Hokage so much before. I didn't expect him to be that kind of person. Otherwise, why do you think there are two trash elders, Yudet and Koharu and Mitokado Homura? They were both Sarutobi Hiruzen's most trusted classmates and assistants. In a dilapidated house. Mitokado Homura and Yudet and Koharu are hiding here with their families, their eyes are dull and their hearts are already in confusion. How come they still don't know that all this was done by Uchihasuke? After all, that was front-line information, how could the villagers know? Everything is like a hand secretly arranging and controlling. In just a few days, the two of them were nailed to the pillar of shame. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, the once majestic former Hokage, has now become the target of everyone's common reviling. What made them tremble even more was a book. Konoha Shinobi School Edition Ninja World History Konoha Chapter. The above not only removes Sarutobi Hiruzen, the #1 strongest Hokage, but also provides a well-founded analysis of the strength of first Hokage and second Hokage. The reasons for Konoha's decline over the years are told, both overt and covert, revealed by Sarutobi Hiruzen, Mito Kato Homura, and Yuditen Koharu. As the parties concerned, Mito Kato Homura and Yuditen Koharu could naturally see that there were exaggerations in the book. But, the thing is, the truth is not that far off. Not to mention, even if they explain it now, will anyone believe it? Under the avalanche, no snowflake is innocent. Konoha's public opinion has been completely controlled by Uchiha-suke. In fact, the villagers don't care at all whether the information they obtained is correct or not. They just want to find a target to vent their anger and take responsibility for Konoha's defeat. In the cold night, Mito Kato Homura, Yuditen Koharu think of the former Heitake Shishuo. Thinking of everything they have ever done. Homura, this feeling is really uncomfortable. Yeah, who would have thought that one day we would face these things too? I wonder how Sarutobi Hiruzen on the front line will feel when he learns what is happening in Konoha now. That Uchiha-suke is really cruel. They don't think Orochimaru did all this, and this isn't Orochimaru's style. All this could only be done by Uchiha-suke, who holds the Hokage mark. More than once, they thought they had a high opinion of Uchiha-suke. Unexpectedly, one thing after another happened next, constantly breaking their cognition. They still underestimated Uchiha-suke. Uchiha-suke also. For the first time, it officially appeared in the eyes of all families in Konoha. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. The bosses enjoyed watching it, so give me some flowers.